Hey, Saturn Vue 2004. What I'm going to be doing is taking the fender off and the front bumper skirt and the other fender. And what needs to happen, there's a couple bolts on top, need to be removed. And then there's a bunch of these clips inside. You can see them or not. There's a clip here, there's a clip up here. All those, it's a two-part clip. The top part needs to be pulled out, and then the whole clip comes out, and then it makes it loose. This is already loose. So I'm going to get to it, and I'll be back with you. Alright, to remove the front bumper skirt, you have these clips here I'm talking about. You see, it's a two-part clip. You need to pull this top part out, and then it releases it. Makes this piece here squishy. And then the whole thing pulls out. You push it back in the hole. See, there's a hole there. So it would be pushed back in the hole. Then you push this in like that, and it locks it. It swells it here. So it locks it in the hole. And that's all that holds that on. You have one here, you have one here, you have one here, and you have one here, and underneath, on the underside of it, you have a couple of them that need to come out. And once you have them out, that's it. That's the only thing that holds this on. It's able to be separated. I already undid the light, so bear with me for that. That's just two 10mm screws, one there and one there, and the whole headlight assembly gets removed. Now you have to unhook the wires, of course, and it's the same with the other headlight. Same idea. You see how that's going to just pull away like this? Maybe I forgot one. I just rest it there. Oh, and I did. You see, I forgot these two here. So I'll give you a showing on how that works. So what I use here is I use a knife, and I go and put it in the side like that. I hold my finger, and I just see, I lifted it up. And I'll do the same thing to the bottom one here. Tire's kind of in the way for this one. See, and this comes out like this. Just like that. Okay, now let me... There we go. That one's out. I'm going to take this one out here. There. Now you want to save these little things. Put them in a container or something. Doesn't take much to lose them. I just have a container up here. I'll drop them in like that. Okay, now it basically should... No, we have a 10mm inside of here that I have to undo. You see it in there? I'm going to undo that. So I'm going to get my 10mm. Okay, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to undo this. think it's just about out. I believe it's out. Oh, maybe a couple threads yet holding it in. Okay, I'm going to ratchet back here. There we go. Wasn't very difficult. And that's that whole front bumper skirt. Easy enough. And I'll place this over here on the grass, out of the way. Not very difficult taking that off. And look, I have a deer fly biting me. Oh, he didn't bite me, he flew away. He don't like the taste of me. That's just fine. That's just okay when a bug decides to bite me and doesn't like the taste of me. I like it. I like it. Must be all the garlic and lemons. Too sour, sweet or something. Don't know, don't really care, but I enjoy the fact that they don't bite me that much. That's a good thing. This was another piece that was in front of it. There was two clips holding it onto. The bumper skirt actually went to these two. And then this whole piece here, it's these two here. And that's it, just like that, it comes off. Really simple. These Saturns are, I like them. I like them. I like them a lot. They have their issues, there's no doubt about it. But what don't? What does not have its issues? I mean, everything has its issues. Okay. I need both hands, so I'll get back to this because I'm just going to disassemble these headlights. Remove the, clip the wiring, and I'll put them off to the side. This one here seems to be stuck, so something there is holding on somewhere. So I'll get to that. Alright, I freed up the headlight. I discovered what was holding it. So what you have in here, you see this down inside here, you have this white clip. And you have this piece here. Well, this piece here slides down inside that white clip. And that's what holds the bottom. And then the top is just these two 10mm bolts that go into these holes here. 1, 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the wires. I might need both hands for this. There's one. There's two. And this is a turn and pull out. And there is the headlight assembly. Pretty simple, pretty simple. I'm going to place it over here on the grass, out of the way. This headlight's really fogged up. They sell a compound that you can buff this back clear, and that's what I'm going to end up doing, buffing it back clear. It's just a buffing compound, basically, kind of gritty. They have different grits of it, and then a buffing wheel, and they'll come back up like nice and clear. So the headlights can really shine out that glass. It's just plastic, it's not even glass, it's just a plastic. You know, the stones and the dust and all the rest of it, just put scratches and stuff on it, so you have to basically buff it out of there. So, we have a whole bunch of shrouding here, which just sits in there, just like that. Not a big complicated thing either. Okay, put that out of the way. And that's one big breather box I see. And I see there's a couple 10mm nuts to remove. And that piece will be off. So Now, being that this is a 4-cylinder motor, and mine's, oh, I need an extension for that one. So, maybe I will cheat a little bit. And I'll show you how I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'll grab a pair of pliers. And I'm going to put I don't believe it's very tight. I believe that's why I can cheat a little bit. Might not be able to. I might be wrong though. I think I am wrong. Okay, I need to go get a little extension. I'll be back with you. Alright, I'm back with the extension. So we'll get back to the process of removing this. Oh, it's not tight now. I'll put it in a container. Okay, now this here piece of styrofoam is kind of like a protector here, and it has the same type of clips on it. You see these clip here, and there's one there, and I believe that's all there is. So let's remove that before I break it. Same idea. They're a little bit different of a clip. There. These ones here are a lot longer, I believe. Oh, they sure are. See how big that is? And it's the same thing, reverse. It's a reverse effect. When you put it back together, you make sure this pin here's out, push it in the hole, and push it in. It widens it out here. And that's what holds it. Got a cigarette. I'm trying to hold it in my mouth. Got one hand holding the camera, and we'll manage. Okay. There we go. Take that one out. Now this here should basically just pull out. It sure does, just like that. See? And if I didn't do this, you see that bumper behind it? It's starting to rust. Well, a couple more years and there wouldn't be a whole lot left to that bumper. So, I want to get all this apart so I can preserve that. Prepare it and preserve it. So I don't have those issues. Okay, now we're at the fenders. Take this piece out, those two bolts. And again, I'll put this out of the way. Gonna have quite a pile of things here after a while. This Saturn here, the underneath of it is just deteriorated beyond my understanding, that's for sure. They must have been driving on solid salt or something. But anyhow, it's what it is. And my aim is, you see, you gotta be careful here. You can't just pull. They sit down the side. You have to lift them up. Okay, and they all have that little nipple basically sticking up. So you want to be careful. You don't want to just tug and toss, and you might break something. Okay, that's loose there, but we have some more. We have some more to do. So I need to take off some screws down inside of here, and more of those clips and whatnot. So let me get back to it, and I'll come back to you when it's ready to come off. It's just a matter of looking where all these clips are. That's all it takes. Alright. Okay, what needs to happen is this top molding here needs to come off before the fender can come off, because there's a bolt right here on top. So, we need to open a door, and there's these torque bits, screws that are up underneath on the underside of it. I removed them already, and you have one here for this one. And when you remove this one, this piece here, all it does is just slides up and unlocks. It locks in those little pins there, little clips. And that frees that up. And then, once you remove that piece, there's another one of them torque screws right here, and then this piece will come off. Just like that. There we have it. I'm going to put it over here out of the way. Just pops in place, pops out of place basically, and you get to expose what's underneath there, which is the frame itself, the metal. And I see here there's some rust, which you don't see with that piece on. Okay, then there's that bolt I was talking about, which is again 10mm. Then we'll undo that. Okay. Now this one here has an antenna, which is going to pose a problem. So we're going to unscrew this antenna, take it apart, and I'll put this out of the way. I'll be back with you. Well, this little piece of rubber here just lifts up. You gotta kind of get underneath it and just use some brute force basically, and there we have it. So then that fender is going to lift above this, because this here piece is part of the antenna and it's bolted to the body unit itself. Okay, so there's some underside work that I need to get to yet. Removing a lot of these clips and removing the wheel well. The other side I have done so already. We're getting close to removal here. And I see there's this bolt here that I've already undone. And then there's another clip on the underside in front. And that front section will be loose. And then I'm going to remove this dust shroud here. There's a clip. Don't just tear it. Undo the clip so you can save that piece. Okay, I'll be back at you. So I'm going to remove these clips on this passenger side on the wheel well. Okay, now on this piece here, when I said there was another clip here, well, I discovered that it's riveted. It's a steel rivet. So with this piece here is bolted into the frame. So it's much easier to unbolt it, 10mm nuts, and that's going to stay intact. And that's it for this fender. It comes up and it's off just like that. I'm going to put the fender out of here, out of the way. Now it's very warm today and it's very sunny, so I'm not going to leave this stuff in the sun because it may take some different shape, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to put it in a dry, not dry, but cooler place and out of the sun, so it doesn't start taking a different shape just from being on the ground and the forces. And as that heats up, being black and all, it might just start making things really warm, and that plastic may just take new shape, and I don't really want that to happen. So for the moment, I'll put it gently down on the grass on the painted side. You see the inside of the fender is just plastic. Not too sure what kind of plastic, but that's what it is, just plastic. It's not going to rust anyhow. Okay, now on the bottom part, you have your plastic cover that covers your rocker panel. Well, it's just the same thing. You have to maneuver it over, and it pops out the top part, and then you can just actually move it out of the way like that. And you can see those two holes there. There was two bolts in there, and you remove those two bolts in that inner wheel well, and the same thing with the front piece here. This was broke. This one was broke off the fender. so I didn't have to worry about it. So again, we have to lift it up off these clips here, and this fender should be up over top of the aerial base, and this fender is off. Just like that. And again, I'll put this one down gently on the grass. Well, there we have it. This was a steady pace until both fenders were removed. There's the wheel well. And here's the front. And here's the other fender. I'm going to leave the hood on there so just in case it rains, it doesn't get all full of water, the motor and whatnot. Okay, well thank you for watching, and subscribe if you would.